Welcome, I'm Darren, and I'll be your guide today as I rank the worst basketball rookie card designs of 1995. So, starting off, I had 13 cards that I pulled aside. I did want to include more than that because there was Jam Session and SP Championship, but, well, they didn't do special rookie cards in the base set. And since I'm looking at only the base rookie cards, I couldn't include them. And so that meant that I have an odd man out. I have 6 and 6, but since I have one that could go either direction, I want to talk about SP Championship a little bit in the other video. So I'm bumping the middle child over onto the worst of list, which, as much as I hate to admit it, it really does kind of belong here. In fact, both honorable mentions are cards I don't consider to be worst of. I think they're perfectly decent, but they're lacking. And so that's the problem. As much as I'd like to put them on the other list, this is where they unfortunately end up having to go. And the first of those, the one that I really want to keep off of this, is Fleer. The Fleer card, I mean, the deep rich colors, love that, absolutely love that. The ghosted portrait in the background is really cool. And then this wonderful, elegant burst of gold foil on the card that gives a really great, elegant quality to how the cards look. I mean, I look at this card and I go, wow, that is, how in the world did that card end up in 1995 Fleer? I mean, that was a bad year for Fleer. We can all agree on that. And the fact is that, well, it actually does kind of apply because it has one of those deconstructionist junkyard kind of a looks to it that fits in with other cards in the set. And you don't really notice it until you take the time to look at it, because this is a card that does not stand out in a display case, but it does stand out in a collection. And I look at it and go, oh, that's nice. But as I start to look at it, I lose interest, and actually I don't want to say I lose appreciation, but very quickly I'm not intrigued by the card. And that, again, is because it has that very gritty quality to the design that is just unfortunately pretty lacking. So as much as this card has a great right out of the gate, over the top quality of grabbing my attention, it doesn't go anywhere from that. So it's a card I love having in my collection, but I'm definitely not going to put it on display. The other honorable mention is a stronger card. It's NBA Hoops. And the NBA Hoops card has a wonderful, super bright color background behind the player that is fun, it's bright, it's energetic, it really stands out. The player's separated away from it really well. It even has a burst of gold foil. And while I'm glad that they didn't do a big field of gold foil, still, that's where the problem with this card comes, because it's got kind of that Skater X Games aggressive quality. In a way, it's almost like the art of the early Soviet Union, where they were trying to maintain the tradition of revolution, but they wanted to do it in a way so that the public wouldn't have another revolution, because it's the government trying to keep the people energetic about the revolution, but not have a revolution toward them. So they had art that really captured the spirit of revolution, which is perfectly fine, nothing wrong with that. But it's aggressive and it's edgy and it's, I mean, when I look at a rookie card, especially one as bright and colorful as this, I want to have a fun, relaxed time, and this is not it at all. This is sharp, edgy, clashing. They took a card and they ruined it. Well, I guess I shouldn't say it ruined it, but it took away the potential of the card to be a completely awesome, fun, exciting party of a card. So that's why it is here as the other honorable mention. But there is a very clear 5 worst list. These two are, again, I like them. I don't love them, but I like them. And the 5 on the 5 I've got coming up are, they could all use a whole lot of help. And at number 5, I've got Fleer Metal. Now, this is a bit of a cheat, because this is basically just a normal card with the text rookie on the basketball. And that's it. And normally I don't try to put those cards onto a list like this because it's the same card. Only in this case, I gotta say it's kind of different, because while I don't think that the veteran cards are very strong, a big part of that is because the images of the veterans aren't very strong on those cards. The rookies, for whatever reason, I don't know how it worked, if they were just super upfront or what, but the rookies tend to actually kind of look sort of special, almost like they're different. It's kind of like if this was an insert set in Fleer, where it was separate cards for the rookies, then this would stand out as one of those, oh, cool kind of cards, because the cards do have a celebratory presentation of the player on the card. The backdrop with all the gold or all the foil is still way overpowering, way too much. Everything still kind of runs together, difficult to see anything on the card. But for whatever reason, I don't really know exactly what it is, the rookies at least are strong or feel strong on these cards. And so that is the only reason it's here at number 5, because I almost like the card. Not quite, but almost. Now, at number 4, I have another cheat, which is Collector's Choice. And this is a cheat because there's literally no difference with these rookie cards. The problem with doing a rookie card that looks like all the other cards is you're failing to celebrate that the rookie is now in the league. But sometimes, depending on the photo, you can correct that, and that's what they did in Collector's Choice, because Upper Deck did a whole photo shoot with the players. I assume Upper Deck did it and they didn't just get the images from the NBA, but it's a whole photo shoot of players where I think all of them have the ladder as a backdrop. And before I go on, let me just note, why in the world would you do a ladder as a backdrop to an NBA player? If there's anybody who doesn't need a ladder, it's an NBA player. Okay, so with that out of the way, but they're fuzzy images, they're blurred images, which have a really cool ethereal look to it, which means that as you go through the set, all of these rookies that are done like this are amazing. And that's why I give them credit. Now, I would like for them to have done literally anything to be special for rookies. But in 1995, that was not a priority for them. So unfortunately, that's why I put it here at number 4, which is that I think that at least with Fleer Metal, they did something celebratory of the rookies, whereas here they didn't. But the images are pretty cool. Although I do note the images can get kind of old pretty quickly, because there's only so much time that you can look at something fuzzy before you're like, all right, I've had enough. All right. So number 3, we've got probably the best card of all. In terms of a clean design, you got to go with Topps for that. The Topps cards have, well, this is like with Fleer Metal, where they only have a draft logo. But here they do have a draft logo, and it actually stands out more than the rookie text. Well, it's not hard to stand out from the rookie text, which is buried in all of that foil. But it does make these cards stand out within the top set, where they actually do look like they're supposed to be something you pay attention to. And especially like with the Joe Smith card, I mean, you marry an image to that and you just got a phenomenal rookie card. The problem with these cards, though, is the fact that, well, most of the images aren't very good. In fact, in the main set, I think that the images do tend to be fairly strong, or strong enough. The rookie cards, I don't get the feeling that the playing images are strong to the point where, how are you supposed to remember these cards if the image is not memorable at all? The whole card is not memorable. So while the Joe Smith card looks amazing, most of the other rookies just kind of blend in, and they lose the opportunity that they have from having that little logo on the card. So that's why I have it here at number 3. Now, at number 2, I got to go with Stadium Club. And there's a good chance that I don't even need to really say much. You may very well see it, and maybe that you don't. So here's the thing. All right, with Stadium Club, they did better images than with Topps, which you would hope that they would do that. And the 1995 Stadium Club design, I think, is a very strong Stadium Club design. So I would hope that the rookies would come out really well, but the fact is they didn't. And here's the reason why. It's a full bleed image. All right, fine, great. But down at the bottom, that whole strip with the prismatic holofoil, it looks like a sticker slapped on there. I look at this card and I wonder, is that a sticker? And if you peel it off, they have the 1991 design? Because look, the 1991 Stadium Club design is not one of the all-time great designs, but it is actually a solid design because you have the gold foil and then you have the print on it. The combination of those, especially with the logo, it looks like it was designed, like it was totally intentional. Whereas here, this looks absolutely unrelated to the rest of the card. That's the thing. Whenever I look at it, there's an image and there's also this thing that's blocking it that has no aesthetics. All they needed to do was just to put like a line around on either side, and that would have helped out a bit, but that's a lot of holofoil. Now, I do note that the parallel where they have the gold holofoil that's not prismatic helps the card out a bit, but still, these cards, the full bleed image, which is so much great potential, is ruined by that big thing that doesn't apply to anything else. But worse than that, there's nothing else on the card to work with it, which especially makes it look like it's just pasted on. So unfortunately, this is not a good card, which is a shame because some of these images are amazing. So yeah, but for number one, I got to go with Finest. And before there's a hue and cry about it, the thing is, all right, let's look at the regular card. So the 1995 design for Finest has a blue frame around a picture of a player with a chalkboard, kind of a weird mess. And I look at that blue frame and it doesn't make sense why they did that, because it doesn't make sense. But then when I look at the rookie card, I go, oh, it really is a frame. When you have the copper frame, now that makes sense. And then they have the portrait of the player, which unfortunately chromium is not a good technology for a tight picture of a player, a tight portrait. He's flattened, and especially with the aging issues that some of these cards have, it can totally ruin it, even worse than an action shot. So all of that is, it's take it or leave it, but look, it's Finest. And so this is what they're doing. But if they had the right backdrop behind, then this card would have worked a lot better. Because if they had like a school portrait backdrop or a picture of clouds or even a bookcase, something that looks like it's supposed to be back behind the player, that would have helped a lot, because now you have a frame and then you have a hole in the frame where you see the player inside, and then you see a backdrop that's not three-dimensional as much as you feel that it's separate behind him because it's supposed to be there. This colorful backdrop is so flat, and it flattens everything because it doesn't go with anything. It's out of scale. Everything that you would expect to rely on for a backdrop behind a picture is gone with this. And so because it flattens the whole card, the player gets slapped right onto there, and then the frame gets slapped, and it just becomes a big thing. So they had the potential to do something really cool, which again, if they'd done something that felt like a distant backdrop, these portraits would have worked a lot better. They still would have aged horribly, but it would have been a lot better than this. And that's why this card is, shall we say, in nowhere near a success. Very disappointing. But, well, that's what we've got for this list. So let me know in the comments below if you think that one of these should absolutely have been off of this list, or if there's one of the other rookie cards that you think should have been on here. Please let me know about that. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Do look out for the survey the image poll that I'll be doing. And other than that, yeah, thank you very much for watching.